It is the Lee Company Titans Talkback Show. Your opportunity to, on a day like this, vent. Brent Dougherty, the Dr. Kevin Dyson with you. I like the hat, Uncle Nearest. I need a bunch of that right now.
Yes, sir. Do we get to vent too?
Hell yeah, dude. If we're going to drive all the way in here, sit in here until 2 o'clock today. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Yeah, we're going to vent. Are you kidding me?
God.
That was difficult.
You know, it's the same old song. That's the frustrating part. Still, the red zone woes are costing this team. And this conversely, last week the conversation was the defense lost the game. A lot of people called in and talked about the defense lost the game. And I think we gave the offense a pass because they seemingly were better between the 20s. Still not efficient in the red zone. Again, that carried over today. They got the one score in the red zone today from the turnover. Derrick Henry gets in the end zone. But the defense in this bend don't break league that we're in, because offenses are given so much of an advantage in professional football.
Mm-hmm.
Can't touch guys, can't hit them. We saw the benefits of that, hitting a guy down inside the red zone results into a touchdown. They get the penalty, guys ejected. The defense held strong for the most part. But here's the other part.
Forced field goals.
Forced field goals.
Kept the team in it. Had no business being in that game.
But here's the dark side of that. That's all good. And similar to last week, when you need to get a stop to preserve your timeouts, to give your team an opportunity to win, they got to get a stop a little sooner, right? And they have, 4.5, 4:48 left in the game. You need to get the ball back. They keep converting first downs and things of that nature. That's the if you want to look for the ugly side of the defense, right?
Yeah, because they got the ball with right around 9 minutes left and then drove it under 5.
Yeah, under 5.
Under 4, maybe.
Yeah, and that's the ugly side of defense. You want to nitpick the defense. There you go, fans. There you go again. Offensively, and you're probably going to speak to this statistically, you got to put points in you got to score touchdowns.
You got to put the ball in the end zone.
And then Malik going to get a pass, and I think Vrabel gave him a pass, preparation. They put him in a situation. He's now a drop back passer. He's in the gun situationally. But I don't know what you're taught at Liberty. I don't know what you're taught in high school. But in that situation, quarterback 101, you don't take a sack. You get that ball out of bounds. And when you're on the sideline, you preserve time. I know he's thinking touchdown, but you got to preserve time. Know you're down a distance. Know to live another day. And
if he gets out of bounds there, he doesn't get the block in the back penalty.
Yep.
And you live to fight another day.
You live to fight another day. And now it's a 3-point game.
It's you see that from guys that aren't used to playing in the NFL. They think they can hero ball everything.
And you can. The speed is so different, man.
So
Everybody's fast. So,
I just didn't see a lot of difference between Malik last year and Malik today.
It was
you know
a
what
lot
I mean?
Similar decision-making process. And I will say what I liked about him today was when he got outside the pocket, he was decisive. He had a little better pocket presence to him. He saw us dip his shoulders to extend a drive, extend a play. He made some scrambles. That I was happy to see. We haven't seen a whole lot of that from Tannehill this year, and he did help out. I thought there was a couple times he tried to do that too much.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. It was one read and gone.
Pretty much. Yeah. A lot of it was.
And so you got to get past that, right?
Well,
especially in a 2-minute
though.
situation.
He didn't have time, though.
Right.
He didn't have.
That's true.
As soon as he stepped back, guys were in his pocket, and he was trying to do what he could do. But there was times when I felt like that was the case. Throw it out the back of the end zone, go to the next down. And he just didn't do that today. And there's no knock on it's not all Malik Will's fault by any stretch of the imagination. Still got to score points in the red zone.
Sack was the case that they gave me.
Yes.
Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Red zone numbers, you want them? Against the Ravens, 1 touchdown and 4 tries in the red zone. Against the Colts last week, 1 touchdown and 4 tries. That's 2 for 8. Bengals, that's a win, 2 for 4, so that's 4 for 12. Browns lost 27-3, 0 for 2, so that is 4 for 14. On the season, 7 for 21. Got to do better there, for sure. They talked about it all week. Tim Kelly said, I got to call better plays.
Yeah, and got to have some kind of rhythm. On the other side of that, to the defense, to the positive, the Ravens were one of the top 5 teams, I think top 3 red zone efficiency today, and they held on the field goals. 6 field goals. You're supposed to win games. You're holding team to field goals.
6 for 6, Justin Tucker.
I going against him in fantasy football. That sucked. The kicker not supposed to give you all them daggone points, man.
Oh, heck no, man. Unless you're the Titans, you need Nick Folk out there.
He's on mine. I had him.
He's made 70 in a row inside 40. Isn't that crazy?
That's efficiency. I said it last week, man, and he's looking like a great signing. But you want to see less of him. Unfortunately, you want to see less of him. And not
Yes,
no knock on him. He's probably a borderline Hall of Famer himself. But I want to see touchdowns, man. That's the end of the day. It's what you want to see.
All right. So it's funny how divisive Malik Willis is. Like, people are like, start him. Go ahead and start him. Let's see more Malik. And other people are like, he is what we knew he was. Like, don't let him play again. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. And
everybody's all over the board on him.
There's a level of excitement. You saw a little bit of it. But there's also some level of inconsistency, inaccuracy to his game. But I think Verbal said it best. It's an experience thing. It's a thing that you really can't provide your backup quarterback without him playing. And it's evident, especially in those critical moments. You can go through it in preseason. It's different. The speed is different. The sense of urgency is different. The playing for keeps is obviously different. Mm-hmm. And you can see the holes in his game as he needs those reps. I see a lot of ability in him. You see it. You see him getting better in the pocket, but he's got to work on the accuracy component, his speed of reading defenses, what they're trying to do to him, things of that nature. And then that red zone decision making, that really irks me, because I just think he's better than that. In that situation, you don't take those sacks if you can help it. And I felt like those were he could help situations. You don't take those sacks, and that's where he's got to really learn and grow. Hopefully he looks at his films like, man, that's on me. I mean, as far as that, the game is not on him by any stretch. So those, listen, I'm not blaming Malik for this loss. I'm just saying in that situation, he could have helped his team out, helped his coordinator out. It may be bad play calls, maybe bad protection, where he could have gotten rid of the football. And then that one misdirection play, no winning journey's over, my man. I mean, he almost snuck out of there. Then it's almost like that 3-point. Don't take that shot. Oh, good, and he makes a good shot. That was almost one of those moments, but the percentages are, man, go ahead and get out of bounds.
Yeah. It's tough. And I kept thinking, like, you got to simplify it for Malik, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's in year 2.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to. But that's where they are.
They shouldn't have to. And I don't know if that's the case. I just think it was a
well, it sure seemed like it.
But
you're right. I mean, it's hard to tell with the offensive line troubles.
Offensive line trouble, and you're in 2-minute drill. Your playbook is slimmed down anyway.
Right.
Derrick Henry's not in the game.
Plus, when you get in the red zone, everything is compacted.
Yep.
There are a lot more bodies in a shorter space.
When they kicked that field goal, Derrick Henry was eliminated. If they don't kick that field goal, it's still a one-score game. Now you got your playbook at your disposal.
That's right.
So, it's still jury's out on that. Now, if he starts next week and we're seeing some vanilla-type offense and no creativity, then you have concerns. But I don't know yet, because the situation of what it was today. He was kind of put in a situation where he's a shotgun, drop back passer, 2-minute offense. That's basically what he came in.
2 and 4. That's where they are going into the bye week. Needed some momentum with a win, but
would have been huge, man.
Yep, but they fall 24-16. Ravens with the win in London. We'll talk about tons of things, like Baltimore win over on Monday, Titans on Friday. I've got a friend that travels to Europe all the time. He said day 3 is the hardest in terms of traveling internationally, and they played on day 3. Buffalo looked, groggy last week with the same schedule. Titans looked groggy in the first half.
Sure did.
Today. Got it together, going a little bit. A nice play call on the Wild King deal where he faked the reverse, and both linebackers went with the reverse.
Sure did.
That just opened it up, and that kind of opened the Titans up. 615-737-1045. Willie Joe in Waynesboro. Willie Joe, what's up?
Yeah.
Yo, what's up?
Man, I don't know what y'all were watching, but what I was watching down here in Waynesboro, it wasn't very good.
No, we saw the same product.
Yeah, we saw the same thing, bro.
Yeah, let's just start with Ryan Tannehill, who can't figure out that Derrick Henry's standing wide open at the stick, and he throws it into triple coverage.
Yep.
But, I guess that's what 15-year pros do.
That was the last throw he made. That was the last play of his day.
Well, it ought to be the last throw of his career, but how bad it was.
Dang.
So, And I'm going to tell you something. The other guy, Tim Kelly, the guy comes up with one good play a game, and it goes for 60. Can he come up with like 7 of them? Maybe 7 of them we could get in the end zone one time this year.
I love the bubble screen to Spears. I mean, you have got to get the ball in that guy's hands more. Yeah. We say that every freaking week. Mm-hmm. Every week.
I mean, I see a little bit of potential with him, but then on 2nd and 2, he goes, handoff up the middle, Derrick Henry, here we go. Same old Titan crap, you know.
I had a problem with
you for a yard loss.
I had a problem with second down play calling. There were 2 2nd and 3s and a 2nd and 1 where you could literally go to Tannehill's strength. He's one of the best in the NFL this year on play action passing. You do that on 2nd down, not on 3rd.
Yeah.
And instead they ran the ball into a brick wall and ended up with 3rd down that they didn't convert. That was another problem today.
And the other problem I had, they kept putting the camera on Mike Vrabel, and he looked like he was like either high or had jet lag or something. His eyes are closed. The guy looks like he don't even know what's going on over there, man.
I think he did. I just think he was bored and asleep like we all were.
Yeah.
Or
frustrated.
That's the real answer.
I mean, but this is my last thing. Like down here in Waynesboro, I farm a lot of cows. And every once in a while, we have to go out to the field, and we look and we say, oh, man, that old cow, she's getting old. We got to send her to the sale barn. There's a few on the Titans. It's about time to take them to the sale barn and get us some new ones. But that's what I'm going to leave it with.
Well, I mean, as they continue to lose games, you're going to see stories like you saw today on CBS Sports that identified the Titans as a potential seller at the trade deadline because they have 2 primary players that could help other teams theoretically that are making a playoff push and that are in contract years, which makes them tradable in Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill. As they continue to lose, you're going to see that.
You're going to hear that narrative. Yeah. As we watch the Browns here on the NFL Red Zone, is that a team that could use a Derrick Henry after losing Nick Chubb?
I think Derrick Henry is the more viable option for somebody to a lot of people desire something like that. But
that's just going to be the conversation. Not that any of us in here want that or even suggesting that. That's just going to be the narrative.
Exactly.
I hope they don't.
Exactly.
I hope they don't, because then if that looks like you're throwing in a towel.
Mm-hmm. And you're definitely throwing in a towel if you do that.
Yeah. What does that say to fans? If you do that,
I think you can make the argument at running back that like you love Spears and you're going to highlight that guy and he's the guy moving forward. I don't.
But he's not a 20 carry guy though.
No, he's not.
He's in the role he's in is perfect for him at this point in juncture. Because I don't even know if Derrick Henry went down if he still wouldn't have some kind of split role. I don't think he's going to be the every down guy because I just don't think he has that size in him to take that pounding for an entire game. As we still see Derrick Henry not even getting 20 touches again. And when he does that, they're 2-0 this year. I'm just throwing that out there again. Said that last week as well. But, again, that's going to be the conversation. Tannehill's the other one I think is the other elephant in the room as far as money and where you're going.
But would somebody want him is my question.
I mean, you have to.
I think people would want Derrick
Henry. Yeah. But where would you see Tannehill going at this point unless you got a young quarterback and you need a quality backup similar to what the Titans did with him and Mariota?
I think Tannehill's problem in terms of not a problem. He probably wants to stay here. But in terms of getting traded, I think Kirk Cousins is number 1 on that list. Same situation.
Yeah.
He's in a contract year too.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So I don't know. It's interesting this year in the NFL. You usually don't see that rental players.
Yeah.
Like you do in Major League Baseball and the NBA, but you probably will a little bit this year. 615-737-1045. Eric in Nashville next up on Lee Company Titans Talkback. Eric, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. First of all, big upset in the making. In the first quarter, Carolina leads Miami 14-0, so that's kind of a shocker right there. Mm-hmm. Hey, guys, I'm going to be honest. I didn't see any of the game. I just got home from church about 15 minutes ago. I'm hearing what you guys saying, like you said, same old stuff. A couple of things, guys, and I'll get off because I'm going to let the other callers pretty much talk about the game. First of all, were they trying to get DeAndre Hopkins involved in offense? I didn't see where – I was looking at the stats of the game, and I don't know if they were trying to get him involved, or whatever the deal was. Just want to get your thoughts on that. And also, of course, like you said, the bye week's next week, and then after that, are we going to get some of our injured guys back, like Treylon Burks, T.A. Tart, status of Tannehill? I guess you'll talk more about that. Just want to get your thoughts some of our injured guys, and after the bye week, will we get some of these players back? Because it seems like certainly we need Burks and we need Tier Tart. Some of these other guys are banged up to come back. Just that, and also DeAndre Hopkins and what was going on with him today in today's game. Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Yeah, they need Tier Tart back. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And in terms of Traylon Burks, that's 3 games now. So they could have put him on IR if they would have thought that he was going to miss more than 4. But this puts him through the bye week, which wouldn't count on the IR designation. So my guess is he's close to being back, or they would have IR'd him, right?
Right. That's what I was trying to think because, I mean, this all works a little bit different. IR taking guys off and on, but
different than when you play.
Yeah. So I'm assuming based on the timing of it all, they're utilizing this bye week as another opportunity for him to get back, and I'm assuming he's going to be back when they come back from the bye week. Which was interesting fact that I learned today too, that the coaches can pick their bye week if they go to London, and Vrabel chose to have the bye week as opposed to Harbaugh, who and Jacksonville, as it looks like, are playing in the week after, and they chose to pick their bye week later in the season. That's interesting.
What would you do as a player? I mean, it makes sense from my perspective when you travel out there and you come back to take the bye week after. It makes sense to me.
It does make sense to me, and it remains to be seen as we're watching the Colts and Jacksonville go at it for first place in the division right now. And we'll see how they look. If they get blown out, things of that nature, there's going to be that argument of, see, you should have taken the bye, as opposed to not. Well, we'll see. And Titans, to the caller's point of health and getting guys back and things of that nature, that buys you time. I think you prefer to have your bye week more placed in the middle of the season. At least I always did. You know, kind of in that 7, 8, 9 range where I can get that extra week of rest and healing and then go for the home stretch. So this is somewhat early comparatively, but I don't know, man. I want to see. I guess we'll see what Jacksonville does the rest of this game when they're in the Colts game.
Titans have dropped 3 of their last 4. They're now 2-4. Lead Company, all you need. Visit them online at leadcompany.com. Lines are loaded. Your chance to vent. Titans drop another game, 24-16 against the Baltimore Ravens in London. Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson with you. 3HL is on Monday. That is not right now. Lead Company, Titans talk back. More next on 104.5 The Zone. Lee Company Titans Talkback. We're here with you, Brent Dougherty, the Doctor, Kevin Dyson, breaking it all down. 24-16, the final. Ravens with the win. They go to 4-2. Titans at 2-4. Now have the bye week. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Why did Kyle Phillips try to catch that punt before halftime with 1 second left?
I don't know. I don't know if it was
Why was
just
he even
one-
back there?
I don't know. You think a situation like that, a guy who has, well, I was going to say sure-handed, but I think,
No, he's shown.
recent memory hasn't been as sure-handed.
Yeah.
But fair catch it. Don't do nothing to lose the game.
I get it, but you don't even need to catch it.
But what's
Like,
the
let
point?
them down it and go to the half.
and go to half. Because now
You're not going to score.
Gave him 3.
Gave him 3.
And just think about momentum-wise. And just think about how the game ended. It's you know what I'm saying? And the strategy of both teams
Would have changed.
if you don't
The
have
last
that
10
3.
minutes of the game would have changed.
Yep, because you don't have them
Strategy-wise.
3 on the board.
Dolphins now with a touchdown. They trail Carolina 14-7. Excuse me, 14-7. San Francisco up on Cleveland 7-0. Minnesota and the Bears tied at 3. One bit of news: Anthony Richardson, Colts quarterback, contemplating season-ending surgery, according to the NFL Network.
Ooh.
So that is interesting. 615-737-1045. Just ran some numbers during the break. You were talking about the red zone. So in wins this year, the 2 wins, Tennessee 5 of 8 in terms of getting touchdowns out of red zone appearances. That's 62.5%. In the 4 losses, 2 of 13, 15.3%.
Dang.
It's funny how like stats don't mean a lot, but when you dive into some of the stats, you can kind of tell where analytics comes into this. All right,
Especially from a team's perspective. Third down efficiency, red
third
zone
down.
efficiency.
You want third down?
Oh, yeah.
Third down and wins. 2 wins. 14 of 26, 54% on third down.
That lead most every league every time.
14 conversions. In 4 losses, twice as many games, 10 conversions, 45 attempts. That's 22% on third down in the losses.
Dang. Them are 2 telltale stats.
That is big time.
that we don't talk about nearly enough, that if you got a point of emphasis going into the bye week, other than health, we got to be more efficient on third down, got to be more efficient in the red zone. Because, I mean, the numbers say it right there.
Right there.
Right there. And then
It's so drastic, the difference in numbers, wins and losses,
all
in
day
those
long.
2, red zone and third down.
And I said it earlier, Derrick Henry. In the 2 wins, he has 20-plus touches. In the 4 losses, he's less than 15.
Yeah. 12 today. He was up over 100, as you pointed out. 10 carries, he was at 106, and then dropped down to 97. With the next 2. And then had to come off the field because it's a score separation.
He was
deal.
eliminated after that last score.
615-737-1045. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. What do the people have to say? Let's go to Kenny in McMinnville. Kenny, what's up?
Hey, guys. Just real quick. I know we got other callers on the line.
No, you're good, bro.
So just right now, I think the Titans are at a crossroads. We're just not good enough to overcome all these things. Y'all talked about Kyle Phillips' fumble. Let's talk about Jeffrey Simmons' unsportsmanlike conduct, because that's what Odell Beckham does, is he gets it in your head.
He does.
And Simmons took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and that's what led to the touchdown. The Nick Westbrook-Akina drop on a surefire touchdown on that first drive, there's 4 points there. You have a 64-yard King Cat all the way to the 9. And what do? We can't move another yard. We move 1 yard on a Tajay Spear run, and then 2 passes to DeAndre in the end zone. One should have been a pass interference. I don't disagree with that.
Well, Tannehill should have put that ball more catchable. That's on him to me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'll tell you why.
So we just cannot overcome these things, these penalties. And great job in the third quarter to come back. But, guys, I mean, like you said, I just want to echo what Brent said a while ago about Malik. You're not seeing that that growth from year 1 to year 2. You're seeing the same thing from year 1. Yes, I know he gets put in at the last minute on a fourth quarter, comeback, and that's not fair to Malik. But I want to see growth, and I'm not seeing that from Malik. So we got Will Levis that we drafted in the second round. We obviously don't think he's ready because he's still the emergency quarterback that's inactive. So we can't trust that guy. I don't know if I can really trust Malik. So, I mean, back to roll around to Tannehill, you can't really trade him because you got Tannehill still gives you your best chance. That interception was horrible today.
No, I know.
Horrible today.
Trading deadline's 2 weeks away?
Yeah,
so
2.
Right.
And at worst they're 2-5 at that point. I don't think you unload people at that.
No.
I don't know.
Agree.
So you're right. You're right
agree.
about that. You're right about that. We were just saying you're gonna see stories about it.
Correct. I just think Tannehill gives you your best chance to win.
Yeah,
his ankle was hurt, so I think that contributed to that interception. But again, he did have Derrick Henry wide open the flat. I'm just saying this is going to be Mike Vrabel's best or worst coaching job coming up the rest of the season. I just have a feeling the defense is fine, but I will say this real quick, and I'll get off. The biggest disappointment on the defense is that defensive line. Jeffrey Simmons was nowhere to be found today except for that 15-yard penalty. Nowhere.
Yeah.
Alex Azier's all over the field. He's a monster. Danico had a great tackle today, but other than that, that defensive line has been disappearing act. They have not been at all, and that was supposed to be your biggest strength coming in. I think Harold played very well today with the sack and a lot of tackles today. So, again, guys, I just think we're at a crossroads right now, and Mike Vrabel's going to have the best coaching job or the worst coaching job for the rest of the year. And I'll get off and hang up.
Hey, thank you, Kenny. Appreciate it. Hope
I'm
you
going to
feel
give
better.
Big Jeff a little bit of a pass.
He has a shoulder.
That, and he's getting a lot of attention. It was documented that he was the main focus. He was taking all the double teams, which means
he was the most double team guy in the NFL last year.
Which means the other guys are singled up. And I'm not saying Jeff don't need to step his game up, as I talked about it last week about him stepping his game up. Where was he at? But I'm just saying
I just wonder how hurt he is.
Yeah, until other guys are more consistent and more disruptive, he's going to get doubled the time.
So everybody else has to win their one-on-one battles.
I don't know if anybody's been double teamed by 200-300-pound men trying to get to a quarterback. That's not easy. I don't care how tough he is. But right quick sidebar, Jacksonville is up 14-3. Did not take the bye week after the.
That's right.
And they're up 14-3 in second quarter. So I don't know. We'll see what it says.
Against the Colts, 615-737-1045, 615-737-1045. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Let's go to Kevin in Nashville about Malik Willis. Kevin, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, good, Kev.
Hey, here's the thing. How hard is it to come off the bench? I mean, yeah, they say you're supposed to be ready, next man up mentality. But then you get thrown in the situation to where you come off the bench and you go 4 for 5 for 75 yards. You come in for a quarterback that went for 3.5 quarters, threw 16 times, and only threw for 75 yards or 76 yards. So if you want to say who was more effective, it was Malik. He also ran for 17 yards.
Yeah.
But my thing is, you can't just throw him in the trash when he wasn't even expected to play. So, yeah, it is next man up mentality. But, I mean, there's been plenty of games he's went through and set the whole, on the bench. So my thing is, I think if he has a couple of weeks of practice, I think he'll be just fine. And the Titans are turning around. And, it doesn't matter to me what quarterback is playing. I just want to win. And, these first 5 or 6 games, it's been hard as a Titans fan. I mean, just watching Tannehill just put us in bad situation after bad situation. And you can't get mad at the defense. Today, the defense was on the field for 3 full quarters. They got tired. I'm going to hang up. Y'all guys have a great rest of the Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
I'll say this.
You can feel the frustration
Well,
from the fans
I definitely
calling
can.
in, and we're here for you.
Yeah. The Titans are going against conventional thinking and what has happened of late, probably in the last 20 years or so of professional football. Now the trend is, as we watch young guys come in and play immediately with what behind them, a veteran that knows the game, that has been has been a starter, has done all the things. Well, the Titans have gone to the opposite. They have a veteran and they have 2 young guys that don't have the experience yet. And regardless of how much you played in college ball, it's different. I'm sorry, y'all, it is. It is different. And I'm trying to think, who's the backup for Kirk Cousins? They probably have a veteran to back him up because I don't think they drafted anybody.
Yeah, didn't they just sign Colt McCoy?
I think they did
sign Colt McCoy because I think they might trade Kirk Cousins.
As you talked about, somebody might be on IR over in Indianapolis. Who was their backup? The young guy.
Gardner Minshew.
Who's the backup?
Dude, when he came in the game last week, I was like, oh, crap.
He's been there, done that.
I was more afraid of him than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. So the stereotypical has been different of recent, where you play the young guy so they get the experience, you take your lumps. And if he goes down, you have that veteran that's behind you that has seen and done and heard it all. And unless you have, there's some situations, if they hadn't drafted a young guy, where you go veteran. And as we watch Seattle, I'm trying to think who Seattle's backup. I think it's a veteran as well. I don't think it's a young guy either.
No, it's what's his name from Missouri?
It's Drew Lock. Yeah, Drew Lock.
Yeah.
So again, another veteran who has been in the league for quite a long time. Even as we watch San Francisco, I know he's young. Purdy, who's his backup? He's got two veterans behind him, Sam Darnold and I forget the other guy. So Titans are going against traditional or the more recent tradition of drafting a guy in the first couple of rounds and playing him, taking your lumps with a veteran behind him.
Right. It's Jaron Hall with the Vikings. He's a rookie out of BYU, but they signed Colt McCoy. If they do something with Colt McCoy is going to be the quarterback. But, most teams, it does feel like they do what you're saying. There are a couple of outliers there. But, you're going to you very well could reach a point in the season where you decide which one you want to see, or maybe both, and then start thinking about – because next year you've got both of those guys competing for the job theoretically, because Tannehill won't be back.
It'd be hard for us to see him coming back. At least not at that price. If he is, it's at a bargain price, I would think.
Yeah. In terms of Malik Willis, I thought another great play call was that bubble screen to Spears that we talked about earlier, and that inflated Malik's numbers for sure. But so you got to go eyeball. So what did you see from Malik? Is it hard to read Malik because of the pressure that he was under?
And the situation.
And the situation. Yeah.
But I will say this. Look at that play call. Go to the other side with a veteran MVP quarterback. What did they do? He was getting rid of the ball 0.8, 1.2, and they were just getting the hands of the playmakers and keep the chains moving. And they created an offense that suits his skill set. And then when you lull you to sleep with the dink and dunk, what was he doing? Right over the top of the heads of the linebackers, right over the top of the heads of the safeties. They got a couple gas plays in there. And then I'm handing it off 3 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards. Oh, you're going to stop the dive? Quarterback keep out the side, out the gut. I'm not saying that Malik is like Jackson. I'm not saying that, y'all. I promise you I'm not yet. But he has that ability in him if you create a system of play that suits his ability.
Right. A lot of guys, I think Chicago was going through this, is there last year they got to the point where they matched their offense to Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Whereas previous to that, they were trying to match Justin Fields to their offense. A lot of coaches, you know this as well as anybody, a lot of coaches' egos are such in that this is my offense, run my offense. But a lot of successful coaches, McDonald down in Miami.
Oh, man.
Tailor their offense to their quarterback. And that's what Chicago has now done again with Fields, and now he's playing better.
He's playing better. You know what I'm saying? And they talked about it in Baltimore. Roman was hell-bent on, I'm 3 tight ends set, we're running the football, we'll use Jackson sparingly, and ran him. And he said, we just were stymied. We just weren't growing as an offense. I want to bring somebody a little more innovative, let him grow as a player. And you see his evolve, see him evolve as a quarterback and a play caller in his offense. And if he figures this thing out from an accuracy standpoint as a pass catcher, Baltimore's going to be hard to deal with offensively because of his ability.
Tannehill's injury, how bad is it? Also, did it actually come at a good time in terms of what's next at the quarterback position? We'll talk about that. Take more of your phone calls. Lee Company, Titans Talkback. Lee Company. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Brent Dougherty, the Dr. Kevin Dyson. Lee Company, Titans Talkback. More next on 104.5 The Zone. It is the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Your opportunity to vent. Your first opportunity to vent. 615-737-1045. I'm Brent Dougherty. Kevin Dyson in here. Smiley Jackson is producing today. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Titans drop it. 24-16 go into the bye week at 2-4. Ryan Tannehill today, 8 of 16, 76 yards, an interception. That was his last play of the game. He stood by the tunnel. It was the wrong tunnel, so he waited for a cart, and then he just sat in the cart and got carted off. But looked to be an ankle injury that occurred in the third quarter. He tried to play on it.
Yeah.
Really couldn't plant on that deep throw. Missed Derrick Henry for the wide-open first down on that third down situation, but threw it into double coverage and just didn't have anything on it.
Yeah, I wonder why he took that shot.
Smiley says he was on crutches after the shot. So let me ask you this. Tannehill, in terms of injury, is this actually a good time for that to have happened? When you have a bye week?
If there is such thing as a good time to have an injury?
If you've got to get Malik Willis ready, you do have an extra couple of days to get that done?
If there's such thing as a good time to have an injury, yes.
And how much is it physically getting ready, also mentally in terms of understanding the offense and the defense coming up? Hopefully he's been preparing as if he could go in the next snap anyway. But, like, from a mental perspective, like, you have some time to think, like, if this is the situation, like, hey, man, I'm going to play. I got to get my mind ready.
Yeah. And so I guess we'll wait till the diagnosis comes first. But in keeping that in mind.
I'm full of hypotheticals.
Yeah. Keeping that in mind. It is the bye week, and they do typically like for players to get away. Right? You get away from the game. This is a long season. We got a long haul. We're still going to make a push. We're still in the thick of things, right? However, it's a little different for a quarterback. So does the mindset change if you get back here and you find out Monday, tomorrow, or early Tuesday morning that Tannehill's going to be out for a significant amount of time? Does that change what they do with the two young quarterbacks?
Right.
Do they keep them here to work on and go through some things from a strategic, let's find out what you guys are comfortable with? Do they work with them and say, I'm sorry, I know you got this trip to go to your alma mater, or you got this plan. We need you here to get ready.
Bullock told us Keith Bullock told us that there was a year that you guys started like 0-6 or something and went to the bye, or 1-5. I don't know. It was bad. And he was like, hey, man, I'm going to South Beach. Any one of y'all want to come? Let's go. And like a bunch of guys went to South Beach, came back, and y'all won a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Like just to clear your mind and just reset.
Reset. Bye weeks are precious, man. Because you think about it, especially from when we were playing, you had camp was a little bit longer. It was 2-3 weeks longer. 4 preseason games, and then you're banging your head 17 weeks or 16 weeks plus the bye week. And that's why I used to love them in the middle, because it was like you had the 4 preseason games, which when you become a starter, you're not playing in all of them. You're not playing a significant amount of time in all of them, 1 or 2. And then you had the 8-9 games in the regular season. So you're 12 games into playing football, aside from the 4 weeks of training camp you've already been through. And it's just, man, and then like you said, it's just the mental break. I don't want to have to think about watching film too much. You don't completely get away from it, but there's you at least get to distance yourself from it for a little bit and go watch a college game, or like Keith did, go down to South Beach and just sit on some water and chill.
How about Lamar Jackson today escapes to the right, and Jack Gibbons is sitting there. I mean, 2 yards from him, didn't touch him. I mean, Lamar gave him a couple of moves.
He gave him that hee-hee.
Oh, my goodness. Gibby, good effort there, bro. 9 tackles for him, though. There's that. Time for the Kroger Sacks for Cash. Today, the Titans had 1 sack courtesy of Harold Landry Jr. for the season. Kroger's donation to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee now stands at, is it 1,300, Jackson? I think that's true. Courtesy of the 1 sack today. Every
1,500.
time. 1,500. Thank you, Smiley. I actually wrote down 15 and said 13. I don't know what I'm doing in here. Operator error. Every time the Titans sack the opposing team's quarterback, Kroger donates $100 to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee from Kroger. Through its Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan, Kroger's committed to ending hunger in our communities. Harold Landry Jr. today, 5 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss. A lot more active today.
Well, I'm going to give him the sack because it's on his stat book, but that was a give me to him. It wasn't, I just beat my man out the pass for a sack, but we're going to give it to him because he deserves it. They don't come easy. So If I can give me a quote-unquote gimme, let me go ahead and give me a gimme. But he looked better, a little more active today.
He did. 615-737-1045. Let's go to Eric in Richmond. Eric, what's up?
15 measly points. I can't believe these people got me up early on a Sunday morning for this foolishness.
Man, what you said.
This offense is atrocious. If I hear Mike Vrabel say, got to coach better, got to pass better, got to block better one time this week, I swear I'm going to poke my eyes out with a hot butter knife. Miss Amy, if you're out there, SOS, help, please do something.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. 615-737-1045.
So 16 points seems to be their number. Right? 16.
Let's see. They scored 16 against the Ravens. They scored 16 against the Colts. They scored 15 against the Saints.
Yeah, 15 was the Saints. I don't think it was 16. It was 15.
It was 15, yeah. By the way, Nick Folk is 13 of 13 on field goals this season, but 7 for 7 on extra points. That tells you something.
Man. Is he offensive MVP at this point?
I mean, he's kicked twice as many field goals as they've scored touchdowns. So,
dang, he is the offensive MVP at this point. Dang, that's
a tough place to be, Dyson.
That's rough.
It's a tough place to be, man.
Hey, and again, what a great signing. Because remember at this point last year,
oh my gosh,
we were just like, man, hopefully they just make a kick. Because how many games did it cost them last year? When we talk about the streak and things.
I just saw Cairo Santos just made a kick for the Bears to tie the game at 6. He used to be on the Titans. Greg Joseph on the Vikings used to be on the Titans. We saw him. He's playing the same game.
It's like they put on different uniform, become kickers also.
I know. There's Titans kickers everywhere. 615-737-1045. They can't do it here, but they can do it there. Although Nick Folk is doing it. So there you go. Fire Mike is next up in Nashville. This is where we are today, guys. 5 weeks in. Yo, what up, man?
He needs to go and bring in Terrell Williams. You keep the team together, have a bye week, and Terrell Williams is all he's doing is he's already head coach one game this year.
Yes, he has. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. 615. Nobody's firing the coach right now. 615-737-1045. I get the frustration. I do.
Yeah. Well, okay. Again, in this era of instant gratification, he's been here for quite a long time, probably longer than most coaches' stint based on what's happened of recent. But he has won some football games here. He has been consistent. His team seem to perform better when chips are down. Today aside, because chips were down and they didn't produce. I think for me, the woes have been inconsistency on offense. I feel like on defense, at least the past 2 years, has played at a winnable, even a playoff winnable level for the most part. You know, there's been some obviously some teams that got the best of them. Some moments where some teams got the best of them last week. That drive when you needed a stop, they went the length of the field to basically run the clock out. Then gave you 1 minute to go the length of the field to tie the game. For the most part, though, the defense has been the most consistent part of his tenure as a head coach. Offensively, we have seen the roller coaster ride of inconsistency. And we thought, at least for me, you thought with the one main cog, the one main person in this offense that seemingly is being phased out. I don't know if it's intentional or is Spears I don't know. But Derrick Henry only having 12 carries again, 2 catches, 14 total touches, when he is, by most people's assumption, your best offensive weapon, but he's touching the ball very minimally. And that has been evident in the 4 losses. I don't know why that is. And we documented it was first down run. Okay, now we're going to pass on first down, run on second down. It was kind of one of those moments where people are like, well, here it comes again, 1 yard. The one creative play they did with him back in the backfield was the quote-unquote wildcat that he had the ball, was no handoff, was no pitch, and he just did a ball fake on the reverse, and he extended for 60-something yards. And truth be told, you take away that 60-something yard run, it's a pretty pedestrian day. It's 11 touches for 30-something yards. So 11 touches for 34 yards, I believe. So I don't know what's going on from an offense standpoint, consistency, but through this tenure of Vrabel's tenure, that has been what to me has been the most inconsistent is the level of effectiveness and things of that nature from an offense perspective. Defense, I think, has been the most consistent. I think they have been in the conversations they held up until last week. They had a streak of how many games in a row holding a guy under 100 yards rushing, which is phenomenal. 20-something games.
It was 20 and 10 opponents under 100.
I mean, that's no small feat now in this day and age. So, again, nobody's getting a pass. I'm not giving anybody a pass. I'm just saying if there's going to be conversation of Vrabel and his tenure, next step, fire Vrabel, fire Mike, whatever, you look at the things in totality. I think the most egregious offense he has is the inconsistency to find a quality play caller from our perspective.
Nope. I mean, you hit on some great points. Lee Company Titans Talkback for sure. Titans take the loss. They're 2-4. So Mike Vrabel in his career, this is his 6th season. He went 9-7, 9-7, 11-5, 12-5, 7-10 last year. He had the 7 straight losses. A lot of that Tannehill had left the lineup. And then 2-4 so far this year. It's funny. The Titans have won the AFC South 5 times. Vrabel's done it twice in his 5 seasons, 5 complete seasons.
How many playoff runs?
3 playoff appearances in 5 years. 2-3 is the playoff record. Did go to the AFC title game, so 1 win away from the Super Bowl. And had it going pretty well in Kansas City until Patrick Mahomes went crazy before the end of the half with that run down the sidelines.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where you are there. The Titans before Vrabel got here, 9-7, 9-7 the previous 2 seasons, then 3-13, 2-14, 7-9, 6-10, 9-7, 6-10, 8-8. So there was a lot of losing and mediocrity before Vrabel, and he did turn it around. So he does have the freedom to try to get this back for sure.
And I say this, I think
it or not,
because he came in at a time and they were so good for long. I mean, 9-7, 9-7, and then he got 11 wins, 12 wins. There was 4 winning seasons in a row. And I think that's where people are holding his hat at. Like, this is the barometer. This is where we're at. And then last year, even, had they not lost all those games in a row, we'd be talking about another divisional championship, another playoff. Will we still be talking about fire Mike? I don't know. I'm not saying fire Mike, the fans.
No. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely not. Here's the reality of the situation as well. And I know it was ugly to watch, but there are 11 more games.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So a lot can change. They've got a bye week. We'll see what happens. We'll go through the –
nobody's dominating the South right now. So you still have a chance to win your division.
That's true. Somebody's going to be 4-2 today. It looks like it might be Jacksonville. Yep. So you'll be 2 games back there. But the remaining let's see, the next few games bye, then the Atlanta Falcons, which is the Oilers throwback day at Nissan Stadium. Then at Pittsburgh.
Tough one.
At Tampa Bay.
Another one.
At Jacksonville.
That's money.
That's the next 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to learn a lot about this team in the next 4 games, and coaches love to break it down in 4s.
And Atlanta seems to be doing a lot better offensively. Their defense is what it is, but offensively they're starting to figure some things out. I love that running back.
Bijan Robinson's amazing, and they do have weapons. Kyle Pitts, Cordero Patterson, but
although Kyle Pitts is not being used, because I got him on a fantasy team. I need him to be used.
He had 6 receptions last week. Maybe they're starting to come around, but it's all going to be on Desmond Ritter's development with Atlanta. So we'll see. 615-737-1045, 615-737-1045. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Lee Company Titans Talkback. More of your phone calls. Your reaction. Titans lose 24-16. We'll be right back. We are here for you. Lee Company, Titans Talkback. Titans fall today 24-16. Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson with you until 2 o'clock. Take you up to Fox Sports programming. Atlanta Falcons trailing the Commanders 17-10 late in the second quarter. That is the next opponent. Eurofix look ahead. Now we look ahead to next week's opponent in the look ahead presented by Eurofix. Let me remind you that Eurofix repairs everything European that you drive and below dealer pricing. ASE certified technicians, a local company that has serviced Middle Tennessee for more than 2 decades. Visit Eurofixonline.com. Next week, the Titans have the bye week, and then the Atlanta Falcons, and it starts a run that we just talked about. Our look ahead, again, presented by Eurofix. Atlanta with Desmond Ridder at quarterback, Bijan Robinson, maybe the rookie of the year at running back, certainly in the NFC. They've got Drake London, Kyle Pitts in the pass game. Bijan can catch the ball out of the backfield. That's gonna be you can't go to 2-5. You cannot go to 2-5.
And that's a hard one. They play well on offense, very innovative. They move pieces around. If they seem to have found a running back that they like. I think you mentioned it off air. The wild card is the quarterback, Riddler. How does he perform that day? Is he still got some of that young quarterback? He's not a rookie. I was going to call him rookie woes, but from an experience standpoint,
second-year guy.
Yeah, from an experience standpoint, still in that rookie kind of mode. How is he progressing along? Can you do some things to confuse him, generate some turnovers or some mistakes by him? But they're starting to figure some things out with their playmakers, man, on offense, and that's not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, he's completing 65.4% of his passes, 6.9 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The Atlanta Falcons are 3-2. They won their first 2 games, then dropped their next 2, and then beat Houston last week. So they have wins over Carolina, who's awful. By the way, the Dolphins down 14-0 to the Carolina Panthers, now up 21-14, just like that.
With 2 or 3 TDs.
That's right. They beat the Packers at home by 1, 25-24. They lost at Detroit. Detroit pretty good now. We all understand that.
Yep.
They lost to Jacksonville 23-7, and they beat Houston 21-19. So 2 of their 3 wins have come by a combined 3 points. So going to be an important game. As I said, you can't go to 2-5.
No.
You just can't.
It'll be rough from that point on. Stacking wins is the next level, and you hope you can be able to stack a couple wins. And you got some tough matchups coming up.
And you don't know the status of Ryan Tannehill at this point.
You still don't know.
Right.
And that's going to be crucial. We'll see how they connect this week.
He's got to get on that airplane with that ankle and travel back. They told me it was going to take them 9 hours to get there, and that's with the jet stream, right? So maybe a little bit longer coming back. That's tough when you're injured to get on that plane. It's just sit.
That's why Vrabel took the bye week, but we're watching it. It doesn't seem to matter. We'll see how the Buffalo Bills do tonight.
Yeah, Jacksonville up on the Indianapolis Colts 21-3. Titans' next games are Atlanta, at Pittsburgh, at Tampa, at Jacksonville. So this Atlanta game at home and then 3 road games, which means you and a lot of Lucas Panzica. I do the home games. Panzica does the road games. Lee Company, Titans Talkback. Kevin Dyson's the marathon man. He's here every week. 615-737-1045. Let's get Grant in here in Smyrna. Grant, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yo.
So it seems like this offense has gone from, with Todd Downing being very below average, and now with Tim Kelly, it seems like it hasn't really gone very far. And, Tim Kelly was the tight ends coach. And as that tight ends coach, he coached up, Chig Okonkwo, who turned out to be, probably the best rookie tight end in the league last year. So how does he go from coaching up very good tight ends and going from that, and now we're barely hearing Chig's name being called by the announcers? Like, it doesn't really look like he's getting the ball very much. So I'll just hang up and see what y'all have to say.
Hey, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. I know Chig had two offensive pass interference calls last week. I do know that.
Yeah.
Today, in terms of Chig Okonkwo, he was targeted 4 times. He had 2 catches for 18 yards. You seen anything there?
Well, I think he's a potential matchup problem for a lot of teams with his speed and his ability. I think last year we saw some flashes of that because his ability to run. last year it seemed they did things like bubble screen or just dump offs, let him use his ability to run, put him in space with linebackers and safeties. They're putting more in space this year as far as routes. He dropped one today, I think. I assumed he was going to get more opportunities, but again, inconsistency is all around. From a pass catcher's perspective, D-Hop only had one catch today, 5 targets, and 3 of those targets, I think they were forced in a lot of respects. And the one in the end zone that was where Tannehill, they flag, no flag, not catchable. And by the way, I think based on the release and where he was, I think Tannehill purposely do it at him so he didn't get the grounding call, and he knew where the coverage was. He wasn't open, so he just threw it high. So that eventually,
we were talking about that earlier, because had the pass been closer to D-Hop, he would have gotten the PI. But Tannehill has no idea that's going to happen when he throws the ball.
He didn't win at the line of scrimmage, and the guy had his hands in his chest from the jump, and so that's why Tannehill threw the way he did. I know that was, again, callers talked about that throw and that penalty, but
at least he was trying to score a touchdown.
He was
on both those throws.
Trying to.
It's the same route, both downs.
But again, it goes back to the innovation of play calling down there and pieces. I didn't see a whole lot of movement. I don't see guys in motion. I don't see some guys in opposite positions where they had. It's been kind of stagnant. I don't know. That's definitely got to be something you evaluate going into the bye week and see what you can create next week.
Again,
2 weeks.
If you missed this earlier, dramatic numbers differences between wins and losses in the third down numbers and the red zone numbers. So a lot of people complaining about Tim Kelly's play calling in the red zone. In the wins, 5 touchdowns and 8 trips to the red zone. That's 62.5%. In the 4 losses, 2 for 13, 15.3%.
Yep.
So when they are having success in the red zone, obviously that leads to winning opportunities. On third down in the wins, the 2 wins, 14 of 26, 54% on third down. In the 4 losses, 10 for 45, 22%. Dang. So 4 fewer conversions in twice the games.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
That's crazy when you think about those numbers, man. Those are like telltale signs. Like you playing poker against somebody, and that's like, hey, we go in a game. We don't let them convert third downs and let them in the end zone. We win the football game.
By the way, the Ravens had 6 sacks today. Jadeveon Clowney had 2 of them. How about that?
Flash from the past. There you go. Showing that number 1 pick overall status.
Kyle Van Noy, Patrick Queen is a player. Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, man.
They're good.
They are so good. And then Matabuke had 2 also. 615-737-1045. Zane is in London. Zane, what's up? How are you, man?
Hey, guys. I'm doing all right. Just just wanted to call in to complain a little bit about the on-location note, the company Experience here, who set up the reserve tickets for the game.
Okay, what happened?
Well, at the end of the day, I paid a whole lot of money for a joint Ravens, Titans, cramming in to an outdoor seating with your free food was your chicken nuggets and really dry burgers, and at least there's free beer. Don't give your money to On Location for anything overseas.
I got you, man. Thank you, Zane. Sorry that it worked out that way. 615-737-1045. Jake in Nashville. Jake, what's up?
Hey, how are y'all?
Hey, we're good, man.
I'm not good. All right, so there are many reasons to hate Mike Vrabel. I'll say it. Like, he makes bad decisions sometimes, but, like, one of the worst things is just continuing to play Ryan Tannehill on a shredded-up ankle. I just think it looks gross. Like, I saw the replay, and then he immediately starts limping on it and failing throws. I just think it's obvious you got to take a guy out at that point, and I think it's just kind of coaching malpractice because Tannehill's not going to take himself out. But I'll shut up and listen, but that's just my gripe with him mainly.
Yeah, it happened earlier than when he went out. I mean, he did try to play on it, that's for sure. So, I mean, you're a former player, I'm not. Like, what in that situation do you do? Do you trust the player when he says, I'm good, I can do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You definitely do, especially if he's your number 1 guy. Sometimes,
and especially at that position.
Sometimes players can be their worst enemies when because you want to play, man. You're highly competitive. You won't be out there. You feel like you can help the team win. all the things, man. It's hard to relinquish that competitive spirit in the heat of a moment, especially in a game like that where it's still close. You still have a chance to win. I commend him for that. I understand why he did that. I mean, that's what you want from your guy, isn't it? You want your guy to
I have
want to
no
be out
problem
there.
with that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but you know,
And then there came a time where Tannehill, I would imagine, he knew he couldn't push off when he tried to deliver that deep ball.
and then again, it goes to that
And
point
then
when
he
both
knew he
make that
was done.
decision. Like, am I doing more detriment to the team than benefiting the team? Now you got to be able to humble yourself and say, you know what, I need to sit down.
It's the last thing a competitor wants to do.
Absolutely.
615-737-1045. Let's go Beth in Pleasantville. Pleasantview. Sorry, Beth. What's up?
Hey guys.
Hey.
Did you know that you can burn 110 calories by banging your head against the wall for 5 minutes?
I do now.
I would not advise that.
700 calories I think I burned today just watching the team do the same dang thing. And I really want to talk about, though, I called last week. The line obviously is having trouble. But it seems like Tannehill really falls apart under pressure. He just can't make a good decision. And I also have a question about, why we're not using Henry. I understand we can't use him every time, but gracious, he's our best player. When he touches the ball, things happen. I just want to hear you guys talk about that. I know you have talked about it, but I just don't understand as a fan, having watched the team for a very long time, why he's not getting the touches. And I'll just listen. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Beth. I'll leave you on hold so you can listen that way.
You know,
want. I mean, you talked about it earlier. Just 12 carries.
And the two
almost
wins,
100 yards.
In the 2 wins, he's had 20-plus touches. And I think if you go back to his time as the primary ball carrier and equate that with wins with the Titans, I believe they're well above 500. They're probably in a 70, 80% win percentage when he touches the ball 20-plus times. I could be wrong.
No. I think that's accurate. I mean, we've all heard those numbers. Part of that because I mean they won 27-3 against the Chargers. Henry's going to get it when there's score separation, right? So if you're winning, you're going to. And so they reached a point today where there was score separation the other way, and he was on the sideline. They kept showing him on the sideline. Yeah. He's tried during his entire career to make himself into a guy that can be on the field on third down. They just haven't ever done it.
And for what they want to do with that third down guy, like, he's been situational on third down, third short, third medium. And we've seen him as a pass catcher. We've seen him the long screen even earlier this year. He's shown the ability to catch the ball in the backfield, but he's not a route runner by any stretch of the imagination. So he's not necessarily winning the one-on-ones with linebackers. But I'm with her. I think you if he's your man, why is he not touching the ball? And I get it. Are
you saying it that way because you think, like, based on what you see, maybe they are moving in a direction past him?
Is that what's going on? I don't know, because it seems of late it's almost like he is being phased out. And I hate to say it like that. I don't that probably is not the case. At least I hope it's not the case.
Right.
But when has he had this few of carries at this point in the season since he became the primary ball carrier? I'd be interested to see like a 6-game stat line over the last 5-6 seasons of his total touches compared to where they're at now. And I bet you that record is a lot more substantial, probably closer to average at this point, 4-2, as opposed to 2-4. He was just touching the ball more. At least it seems like that way.
615-737-1045 is the number. We'll get you in here. We got a little more time for you as we continue to roll through the Lee Company Titans Talkback. 615-737-1045. Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson. More next on 1045 The Zone. Lee Company Titans Talkback continues. Titans fall 24-16 in London to the Ravens. They are off next weekend. And the Falcons at home in the Oilers throwback game. That'll be cool. What do you think about the Oilers throwback gear?
I love it.
Did you see the players wearing the helmets at practice the other day?
Yeah. I wish they would let us ride them one time or another when we switched over.
Yeah. Hall of Fame games, the only time they've done anything. Yeah.
I love seeing the throwbacks every now and then. Even like when Green Bay and Pittsburgh wear the old ones, like back in the 50s and 60s throwback. I bet it's just nice little change up. It's cool.
Tampa Bay is wearing the creamsicle today.
Gotta wear the creamsicle.
And then the Falcons are wearing the red helmets today. They wore them last week too, or the week before. I doubt the Commanders are going to wear their throwbacks. They cause all kinds of trouble. 17-10, they lead Atlanta in the third quarter and driving inside the 30-yard line as they get a first down inside the 20, the 10, to the 5, and
touchdown
into the end zone. And so that's the Titans' next opponent. Cannot go 2-5. We keep saying that. Don't know the situation with regards to Tannehill's ankle. So we'll see. At least they do have the bye week to get Malik ready, I guess.
Yeah. And again, I'll be interested to see. The diagnosis has to be part of the conversation, right? Obviously, right? But what do they do then? You got two inexperienced, one more experienced than the other quarterbacks in a critical juncture of the season. This is a tipping point. You coming off a bye week, hoping to get Treylon Burke back. You're hoping to get healthier. And you got a semi-winnable stretch. I say semi because the all games are tough, and Atlanta's looking really good right now.
At least that's a home game. Then you go on the road 3 weeks.
You're on the road 3 straight weeks. And what is that mindset of Vrabel and his staff? Do you say, look, man, we're going to work with you. We need you in, watching film. Let's get you as prepared as we can. What is – I think it all hinges on that diagnosis right now of Tannehill. If it's a, 4-week thing, like a tendon, or is it just a high ankle sprain, which we know can be rough, where it's manageable, though he can play on it. But that changes the dynamics of some of the things where he's had some success this year. It was well documented. In play fakes or play action, he's been way more efficient. Yards per play has been up. His completion percentage is up, and he's only thrown touchdowns. 2 touchdowns this year have both been under play fake or play action. Mm-hmm. So that's almost
that's what drove me crazy today on the second and short situations where, you can run play action there. It's perfectly set up for that.
Yeah.
And 3 different times they ran Henry right into the brick wall. and then you're what Vrabel wants, 3rd and short.
Yep.
Because he was talking about the 3rd down deficiencies. Well, we need to not be in 3rd and 8. We need to be in 3rd and 2. Well, there you go.
Yep.
2nd and 2 becomes 3rd and 2.
Pretty fast. Yeah. Well, actually, they went backwards a couple times.
They did go backwards a couple of times. All right, 615-737-1045. Let's go with some more phone calls. Alan in Smyrna. Alan, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. A couple of points real quick on I think a big thing is line play, man. I'm a lifelong Carolina fan. I'm sorry, South Carolina born and bred. And the thing that I see that's consistent with South Carolina and the quarterback with Spencer and with Tannehill is both lines are terrible, man. Mm-hmm. Tennessee has given up. They're tied for the 4th most sacks in the league after today per game. They've given up 3 or more in every game except for one, and that was against the Colts. They've given up 5 or more in 3 of the games, and they've given up 9 alone on 3rd down. When you got a quarterback that can't have the time to make his reads, he's naturally going to make bad reads because he's going to the first thing he sees versus being able to have time to check down. And then when you can't run, you look at the Steelers of the 70s, they were known for what? They ran the ball. Terry Bradshaw hardly ever passed, but when he did, he was effective. He managed the game. You look at the Niners in the 80s, they were a throwing team. They protected all day with Montana back there, but then they had a great running back that could run. They needed to. And we just got to have some consistency on that O-line, guys.
Yeah, that West Coast system was perfect for Joe Montana because he got the ball out quickly, right? Like you didn't have to protect for very long. I actually think that Ryan Tannehill I've thought this for a while, would perform really well in that system, that quick throw, quick game system. I don't know if that system works necessarily. That is what Miami's doing.
I was going to say there's versions of that.
Yeah,
still
there is
present.
versions of Miami's doing it. Now they do chunk plays too,
Yeah.
which Tannehill can. I mean, but yeah, I mean, you've got to protect for him. When you protect for him, he does pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. I see a lot of the sprint action stuff that San Francisco made famous, that just sprint action, throw it to the flat to guys. The slant games, individual slant, isolation, Jerry Rice made famous run and catch after. Just like you said, that you're holding the ball a second and a second and a half, maybe a second and a half. And it was documented even today with what Jackson was doing, especially early in the game. He was getting rid of the football very quick and just putting it in the hands of his playmakers, and they just kept moving the chains.
615-737-1045. Ken in Goodlettsville. Ken, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, we're good.
Man.
I looked up our franchise, Oilers Titans, 472 wins, 493 losses, and it's about a 40.49, 0.48 average. So we're a losing franchise. But I don't know. It's just frustrating. I think we ought to go ahead and let the NFL move them to London, and they could be called the Tottenham Titans, and we could watch them on TV here, and we wouldn't have to have a new stadium built, and save us taxpayers a lot of money.
There you go. Thank
right.
you, Ken. Appreciate it, man. 615-737-1045.
I'll be curious though. What is the winning percentage since the Titans have become the Titans? I think he's adding some of the Oilers wins. You can even go to 97 Memphis days, 98 Vanderbilt, if you want to include those as far as being in Tennessee.
How about just since they were in
since they're Titans?
stadium?
Yeah, 99. What is
I can
their
come up
record?
with that during the next break. 615-737-1045.
Yeah.
Since they've been here, 52.4%.
Since 1999.
What is the record? Do you know what it is? Because listen, I mean, there were some I know if you want to throw the narrative that this is a losing franchise, I mean, come on. There have been multiple AFC Championship games, Super Bowl appearance. There are still franchises in the league that have never been to a Super Bowl. Titans are not on that list. But when you start rolling through the 2-14 in 2014, 3-13, you can start adding the negativity up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
4-12, 5-11.
But I can go on the flip side of that. 13-3, 13-3, 14-2, 11-5, 11-5, 10-6, 9-7, 9-7, 9-7.
I think the biggest problem is the 8-8s and 9-7s, because then you end up picking in the first, the middle of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And so the NFL is set up like a socialistic society. They are going to reward the bad teams to make the league closer to 500.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. And then you do what you do to either not be 500, below 500, above 500, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And most teams are in there. I would assume if you over that same period, most franchises are probably going to be in that 480 to 52% win percentage. So right there in the middle. It's going to be, if you had that bell curve, most teams are going to be somewhere on that curve, right? There's going to be some on either end of that. Detroit's going to be on probably the other side of that. Whereas somebody like Pittsburgh or New England at one point or another would be on the other end of that, where they seemingly were winning all the time.
Half the league is either 2-3 and 3-2 right now, or there's 1, 2, and 2.
So most people are going to be
16 out of 32.
Most teams are 8-8 or right at 500, because even the Chiefs, up until recently, right? We seem to remember the most recent time, they were struggling there for a while, for years. Then they get a new head coach who is one of the better coaches in the National Football League, find a franchise Hall of Fame caliber quarterback, and now look.
I mean, for this group to be good, big picture wise, one of these two quarterbacks needs to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where they are. All right, more Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company next 3HL on Monday, 104.5 The Zone. Make sure you listen to The Zone all day for reaction tomorrow and the latest on Ryan Tannehill's injury all day long. 104.5 The Zone. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Let's get Richard in here. Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson with you for another minute. Richard, give me about 30 seconds if you could, brother.
Okay. I think we've gone from being one of the best teams at the beginning of the season with maybe the second best quarterback in the division to probably being the worst team in the division with the worst quarterback once it's all said and done in the division. That's my take.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it, man. It's going to be a fun Monday on The Zone.
Y'all will have fun with it. Enjoy it.
Yep. Producer Jackson, great job today. Appreciate you. Everyone involved in Titans Radio. Kevin Dyson, great job.
Yes, sir. Man.
Titans Radio coverage produced by Philip Noel and Brad Willis. Studio producer Joe Hunkapiller. Scoreboard producer Lucas Pansica. Promotions director Rich Ferris. Director of Sales Hunter Rice. General manager Allison Warren. Operation managers Charlie Cook and Paul Mason. Executive producer Rhett Bryan. Fox Sports next on 104.5 The Zone.